The Passage.
The Passage. I don't think I've seen that.
Well, so I loved that show, and the last episode ruined the entire series for me. 2019.
You know what? That's old enough. Let me do a warning. Warning. Bert is about to spill the beans on a TV show that's been over long enough that you should have watched it, or continue listening at your own risk. Beep, beep.
But even Nick didn't watch it. It's not even my fault.
Well, I don't mind spoiling them. I got a goldfish memory. I'll forget it by the time I see it.
This show, let me tell you, I was super excited when this came out.
Wait, you got to spoil it first. What was the last episode?
So the last episode was this little, so the entire movie premises around this little girl, basically.
Right.
And the end of it, it was almost like everything that built up in that entire episode.
Right.
The very end, it took everything it was doing, was like, nah, threw it away.
Right.
And then went to this post-apocalyptic blah, blah. And I kept, as this show was going on, I'm like, there's definitely going to be a season 2. Like this show is hot.
Right, right.
And then I think the last episode ruined it so bad because nobody liked the last episode.
Right. It's easy to ruin something like that.
I mean, they did for me. I was excited. You know how hard it is to get a show where you're like, man, I really want to like watch this. Right. Oh, you know what? This is saying that that's also vampires. But, you know, damn vampires in that.
Well, you know what? Do you remember that Will Smith movie called I Am Legend?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think it was in that movie?
I considered that to be zombies also.
Right. Those are vampires.
That's a lie, Nick. It's a dirty lie.
In the movie, I would say there's no way those are vampires. But I guess in the book, they're very clearly vampires.
Oh, see, I didn't read the book. Ain't no one got time for that,
me
Nick.
neither. I didn't like it that much that I'm going to read that book.
Well, I'm sitting here. I was looking for a place that would kind of explain the show better than how I'm going to. Because not only that, but it's been a little bit of length of time for me.
Yeah. You said 2019, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
The Passage. What am I going to call it? The Passage synopsis. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. There was a book series on this too.
See, the things you learn, you never know sometimes.
It was a trilogy.
Huh.
Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to put show because I'm sure it didn't follow the show then, if that's the case. Show synopsis.
Right.
The Passage TV series adaptation of, I didn't know this, Justin Crone's novel centered around a government experiment called Project No. Or no, I'm sorry, it cut off. Project Noah. Right. I was going to say, I don't remember there being a Project No, where scientists test a dangerous virus on death row inmates, hoping for a disease cure for potentially causing of an apocalypse. A young girl, Amy Belafonte, is chosen for the experiment, and a federal agent, Brad. Now, Brad is Mark Paul Gossard. Okay.
That's Zach.
Zach. 100%.
He'll always be Zach to me.
100%. Is tasked with bringing her to Project Noah. As the experiment progresses and the virus spreads, Brad becomes determined to protect Amy and prevent the potential apocalypse. But these people, they were like zombies. But where it was similar to what you was talking about, was once they bit you, it's almost like they had this knowledge of the other ones. And there was one central guy. He was like the central zombie is what I would call it.
Right.
And it's like he knew what everyone was thinking within reason. And that's where I thought you was going with that. I'm like, that's crazy. That's the same thing happened in that show.
have you heard of the TV series or the books called The Strain?
Yes, Jess read that because Jess is a vampire
Oh,
person.
oh, okay.
I mean, I married her,
Um,
even though that happened.
yeah. You didn't ask about it first, I guess.
No. Well, I should have
Buyer
known
beware.
because she was like, hey, when you come over, we can watch Interview with the Vampire. It's one of my favorite movies. I go, oh, God.
Uh, I want to watch Interview with the Zombie.
I was like, this ruined relationship. Thank goodness she's beautiful.
So did she ever tell you what the premise of The Strain is?
So funny enough, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyway. When I was real heavy in the church, there was also a guy that was over me that also was a huge fan of The Strand. So though Jess understood I don't like vampires and I probably don't want to know anything about it, he would tell me. So my understanding is that there was an adaptation that was causing in this strand, and that strand was going from one person to the next.
So what it really is they're not even really vampires. It's a parasite, like a worm.
Oh, yeah.
That gets into people's bloodstreams. Like, you don't even have to be bit.
Doggone ringworm.
Well, they just look like little white worms and stuff like that. And the only reason they're considered vampires is because these things can extend your life forever, basically. But the main parasite, they all have a hive mind, and he can exert control over them. He can talk through them whenever. And he just wants to put the parasites in everyone on the planet, so it becomes an apocalyptic thing.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
But like very loosely a vampire, just like the I Am Legend thing. But yeah, there's a lot of this stuff where like vampires are kind of a natural thing, like a parasite or.
Oh, they're parasitic. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're definitely parasitic.
Correct.
Like they have to live off people kind of thing.
Well, according to this article, the passage was canceled by Fox after one season with no second season planned, primarily due to low ratings and a perceived lack of audience interest. It's because that last friggin' episode, they screwed up.
Right. But you know what? Fox cancels shows at their peak too. They were famous for that. Like the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Firefly, that was massively popular. Canceled that at its peak.
That's all GK used to talk about when that show was out. He's like, did
Firefly?
you watch that? I'm like, no, I didn't watch that. He's like, you need to watch that.
You know, it's funny. One of my best friends was telling me all the time to watch it. And I have this thing where if everyone tells me to do something, I can't do it. So I only ended up watching it like years after it was gone. And I was like, oh, damn, this actually is quite good. But by that time, no one cares anymore.
Correct.
Which is kind of what I'm after. I didn't watch Breaking Bad till it was over like 6 years.
You know, I watched like a few episodes and I'm like, this dude's always in his damn underwear. I don't want to see that. So I stopped watching. I'm like, I'm so sick of watching this dude in his underwear. Like zero desire. It
was a decent series, but it's not the kind of thing I'm usually into.
See, there's a lot of shows that was like deeply popular that I hated them. Like Dexter, hated it.
I didn't mind that one. It got a little old after a while, but
yeah.
I've not watched any of the sequels.
Well, see, for me, it was Dexter. There was that one that was the hotel. What was Bates Motel?
Oh yeah, I never watched that.
Didn't like it. I only watched a few episodes of that.
Yeah.
You just can't live up to the X-Files. That's the problem. That's a hard one to live up to.
I know. I used to be so into that. That was like the first TV show that I ever knew was like that.
Yes. See, this is what annoys me. I'm reading this now. It says the series is set in a not so distant future in which scientists at a secret medical facility known as Project Noah are experimenting with a virus that has the potential to be a cure for all disease. The spoiler here, just FYI, the girl was immune and they wanted to basically harvest her to create the antibody, basically.
Well, now we're just talking about The Last of Us.
Kinda.
Yeah. Because that's the premise of that, really.
Right. It says, unfortunately, the virus has the effect of turning its test subjects, which happens to be a group of death row inmates, into vampire-like creatures called virals. TV shows to watch if you like True Blood, and it gave that as an example. I would not agree with that. True Blood was not my bang zone either. Had zero interest in that.
I was into it at first, and then it got like outrageous, and I was like,
It's like all the things I don't like, Nick. It's a whole bunch of naked vampires always humping.
I know. And
I'm like, I
like that stuff.
But for me, I'm like, I don't care about none of this stuff.
Yeah. I know something that you do care about.
Oh, what is that? Tell me.
Something I've not been able to get before, but is now available. And that is the delicious potential future sponsor, Ghost Energy Drinks, which I finally located in Canada.
That's right. Doggone Ghost. You need to reach out to us. You get one for free.
I know. This is the free one from me. You already got Bert's free one. But do you know where I ended up finding this?
You did tell me.
Yes, and I'm going to tell everyone else. It's the weirdest thing. I was over to my mother's for Mother's Day. And
happy Mother's Day, by the way, Miss Nick.
Yeah, and happy Mother's Day to your mom, too, who might hear it directly from my mouth.
She definitely will.
Yeah. So we love you. Good mom. You raised a good boy.
He's talking about his own mom there, because we both know mine's not. That's not true for me.
You're too modest. You're too modest. But yeah, this is sour green apple warheads.
Oh.
Do you have that one?
Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, like if you go into places that have Ghost here,
right,
we probably have like 30 different flavors.
We got 2. And the only place to buy it is from my brother and his girlfriend's gas station. And it comes into Canada and they've got to modify it before they sell it. But I'm going to give you my verdict right here.
Ooh,
live taste test.
Do you like sour stuff, Nick?
No.
Grand opening, grand closing.
If I like this, it will say a lot about this energy drink. Because it's all sugar-free, and I do like that.
Yes.
Oh, that's not sour, though.
Oh, it's not?
That tastes like a literal green apple, like you bit into one.
Oh, wow.
Wow, it tastes really fresh.
My favorite one of all those, Nick, is and I forget what it's called. It's red, white, and blue on the outside. And it reminds me of
flavor.
Remember those popsicles? The bomb pops?
Rockets.
Or rockets, yeah. They called them bomb pops and rockets. It tastes just like that.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, they also have Dreamsicle, which tastes just like a Dreamsicle.
The only other one that they have is sour pink lemonade.
Did you like that one? Did you try it?
Yeah. I'm not getting the sour that they keep talking about on these.
They're fooling you, Nick.
Well, that's fine because I don't like sour. But that was really good.
Maybe you're colorblind against sour, Nick.
Maybe. I'm so sour myself that everything else seems sweet by comparison.
That's right. Yeah, I forget I think they've got so many flavors. Now I'm curious. Listen here, Ghost Energy Drink. You should be sponsoring us because we're doing a lot of work for you right here.
You've got 2 freebies. Bert even made a fancy video of your drink. I don't know if anyone saw that or not.
Good video. That was a doggone.
Did you post that?
Good video. Yeah, I posted it, Nick.
Oh, they've gotten 2 free from you then.
Yeah. 2.
Oh, these guys are spoiled.
Doggone spoiled. Let me see here. So when I look at the flavors, I did like that one too. There's one called EDC Electric Limeade.
Oh.
That was really good. But here, when I look at their website, to give everyone an idea, and listen, when I talk about energy drinks, my favorite energy drink of all time, nothing will ever compare to it, but it's got all the sugars and stuff in it that you shouldn't have. But it's my favorite.
Right.
Like if somebody said, hey, don't worry about your heart exploding in your chest, I would say, I want that one then.
I wish someone would say that. You never hear that enough.
You don't hear that enough. That's right. But my favorite of all time is Full Throttle. That's just
Oh, okay.
the original OG full citrus. I love anything citrus.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got that here.
Oh, it's so good. I like that. And okay, no one judge me here. There's going to be someone's going to judge me. But I also like balls in the blue bottle. So it's a bottle of blue balls.
I don't know if they're gonna judge you, but they're sure gonna clip that.
But I really like those too. But
yeah,
these are just their basic flavors here, Nick, and I see these all the time. Straw bongo.
Uh-huh.
They have the ones you just had. So the warhead.
Mm-hmm.
Those two of those. They got Swedish fish.
Oh, I bet that'd be real good.
It tastes just like a Swedish fish. I've had it.
Yeah, I like those.
They also have, I've never seen this one. Dude, I want to find it though. They got Welch's grape.
Oh, that's probably good.
I bet that is good.
And they've got partnerships with everyone.
They
everyone
really do.
But Deceptive Reality.
That's right. They need to add to it. And then we can make our own flavor. We could call it the
that'd be so
ectoplasm.
sweet. That's what it would be.
Ectoplasm ghost.
That's right. Tastes like blood.
For all the vampires that watch.
That's right.
My favorite one is called you'll never get this one there, Nick.
Okay.
It's called the America Pop. America. That's literally
like eagle feathers and gun smoke.
That's literally what it says. America Pop.
That's funny. It's probably like apple pie flavor, maybe.
No, it's the one that tastes like the bomb pop.
You know how they say American as apple pie?
Yes.
I was watching a history thing, and before slavery, all pies were savory pies.
Really?
But the slaves couldn't get like meat and potatoes and stuff for the pies, so they started picking apples off trees and making pies out of them.
I had no clue.
And everyone loved it so much that became American as apple pie.
That's insane. You just taught me something else I didn't know, Nick.
Yeah. I like these little history tidbits. Like, did we ever talk about like popular sayings that are actually longer than the ones we know?
We have, but we've not went into it too deep.
Yeah, like curiosity killed the cat.
Mm-hmm.
No one says that satisfaction brought him back.
Yeah, no one says that.
Or they say jack of all trades, master of none, just to put someone down, but they never say the next part.
What's that?
Still far better than master of one.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just sent you a screenshot of what that thing looks like, and look at it. It's got a big old bomb pop on there with the America Pop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the color of the can looks cool.
Yeah, that's a cool one. That's my favorite flavor of Ghost, by the way.
Oh, I'll have to see if they can get that in.
Yeah, you got to talk to your brother. Be like, listen, I know it says America.
Right. Well, you think I've got a 50-50 chance because where it's my brother, I've got a good chance of him bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
But where it's my brother, I've got a bad chance of him bringing in because he'll be like, I ain't doing what you tell me to do.
They also got a tropical mango, and I did like this one enough. It was the citrus, just straight citrus.
Right.
Somebody said it tastes like a Mountain Dew, and they're a damn liar, Nick. It did not taste like a Mountain Dew.
No, that's a good thing, I think.
But I liked it plenty enough.
Not to tick off all the gamers out there.
That's true. That's true. I'm drinking energy drinks now that I probably shouldn't.
I don't think we should drink any, probably, but I love
probably not. I've been drinking Celsius here lately, and it's okay. They're smaller cans. That's why.
Yeah, a lot of my friends are like bigger into that, you know. But,
the Celsius.
Yeah.
Apparently, they love to give podcasts sponsorships.
They're good. I mean, my friend loves them.
They're real good.
We just had a ghost event. I don't know if you could see it or not.
We did?
Yeah.
What was it?
You couldn't see it.
No.
So I showed you earlier, I made a thing that scrapes Reddit for the top stories.
Yeah.
And just like you've told me before in the ghost ones, there's like all these people taking really normal events and saying, oh my God, it's a ghost.
Yeah, I hate those.
Yeah, part of my backdrop just fell down.
I saw that.
Yeah. It wasn't a ghost. It's poor craftsmanship on my part
Could be a ghost.
that caused that.
Could be ghost.
Ghost of past Nick who secured it really poorly.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I bought a backdrop just for this weekend. I wanted to test it out.
Right.
Sucks.
Did you use one of those services we were talking about, or?
No, I used
okay.
it was like an El Cheapo for like $15.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, let me just see how this looks. And it sucked.
Yeah.
So
No. You never know what you're getting sometimes.
like listen, if Forrest Gump can say it, so can we.
Right.
Sometimes you just don't know what you got.
Right.
Till you stick your finger in
like
there.
a cheap backdrop. Sometimes it just don't work out.
Sometimes it just don't work, Jenny.
So, question.
Mhm.
I was reading a book recently.
Yeah, that's better than me.
Well, it's an audio book, so it's not really reading, I
Oh,
suppose.
okay, yeah, okay. I'm equal with that. Okay.
But it's called The Exorcist's House. Have you ever heard of this?
I think I have that book.
Oh, do you? Have you read or listened to it?
I think so. I'm double checking to make sure that's what it was called.
Oh, okay. Because I know we both got like huge Audible libraries.
What was it called again? The Exorcist?
The Exorcist's House.
Man, I'm pretty sure I did. If not, there's a book named something very close to that. I have. It's by Nick Roberts.
That's right. That's right. So, do you know if you've listened to it or not?
I've listened to an hour of it, according to this.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if you liked it, but I loved it. But the premise is basically an old exorcist lives in a house, and he has a demon infestation in his own home after protecting people from it for ages.
Do you know why I think I read this?
Why?
I think I did an episode on my podcast about this.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Well, then you'll be able to answer the question I'm going to pose to you.
Possibly.
Yeah. So basically what happens is he succumbs to the demon. They fix up the house and a new family moves in, and then they have to deal with this kind of thing. And it doesn't go very far in before it tells you about this, so I'm just going to let it go. There is a well in the basement of the house that they dug, and it opened up into a sort of like cavity. They just thought it was a water cavity. But apparently, in the world of this book, there are existing tunnels that essentially lead to the afterlife or hell. And if you accidentally uncover one, this is how they can pass into our world. Now, just by coincidence, I was reading Reddit stories, and apparently people believe these portals are a real thing.
Yes. Joe actually talked about that on our podcast.
Yeah, I thought that was like, I was thinking back about that, but apparently this is how they enter the world. And it goes all the way back to Milton from Paradise Lost, and also Dante's Inferno, because these living people were able to just walk into hell.
Yes.
Because they found these chasms.
Yep.
Like, I did not know that was a real thing. That is cool and scary.
Well, what they're saying is, in fact, one of the locations that we're going to in September, they believe has a portal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they believe that there's an actual portal that connects the living and the dead. So it's like a dimensional kind of chamber reality.
Right.
But what they say is, and we're talking about the Wildwood Sanitarium for anyone that doesn't know. But what they say is that your dead loved ones has been known to come through that portal and speak to the guest that's there.
Yeah, because in that book, and also in other lore that I've read since, it's not just straight to hell. It's like it's just like a split in the veil to the other dimensions. And that falls in line with the dimension things we always talk about.
Correct.
So it could be good spirits, it could be spirits from purgatory, if you believe in that kind of thing. And of course it can be hell too.
100%. I think that, and I think sometimes this is where we lose people a little bit. The
Right.
dimensional planes and the way that they're thought to be
Hmm.
is that, and which we've talked about a lot.
Right.
We are on the very, what I call the bottom rung of the dimensional plane. So we can only
Yeah.
see what ours is. But I believe that when there's a paradigm split,
Right.
it opens up that veil to where their
Mm.
dimension and ours can kind of touch. But what they say is if you're technically one dimensional plane up,
Right.
you can see your dimensional plane and whatever's
Mhm.
below you.
Right.
So,
Now, one of the demonic powers in this book,
mhm,
and I've heard of it in other stories as well, is these demonic beings can make you see things that aren't really happening.
mhm,
But I wonder if they're just letting you peer upwards.
could be.
Like, have you ever considered that thought before?
No, I never really thought of that, but I mean, I could see
Yeah.
where that's possible.
Yeah, because they can show you things that appear to be from hell, things that look like they're happening, but they're not actually happening. That could be an alternate reality. Like,
It could be. I mean, I could see
yeah.
where that's definitely possible.
Well, I guess there really doesn't have to be explanations for the powers that they have. Like, they could just be doing mind tricks and that kind of thing as well. So,
Well, and that's where it gets what's the word I'm looking for? That's where it gets a little um crafty is how I'll put it.
hmm,
And the reason I say that is when you think about it, no one really understands what a demon is. They have
right.
theories, but almost everyone thinks a demon's something different.
Yeah.
You know, like a prime example, some people thinks UFOs are demons.
Uh, Years and years ago, I went to a traveling evangelist
Mhm.
who said they are. And the purpose of them is to make people believe in UFOs, which, in their point of view, was an ungodly thing. And these ships were, they went through the air by superheating, is what he
Wow.
said. Like, I was quite young, so I thought, oh, wow, this is
This is some
like, this guy's telling
crazy
me how it
stuff.
is. But
There's always two things that concerns me when I
right.
listen to people.
Yeah.
One of them is when they say, "I know what's going on."
Right. And he was definitely saying it that way.
Yeah. No. That's the first person I don't ever believe. The second
Right.
thing, and I'm going to
Mhm.
take some flack from this, and if you know me IRL, I apologize if this offends anybody. But when somebody says, "God told me," I go,
Right.
I don't know about that.
Eh, well, it's a conversation ender, a
Mhm.
discussion ender, because, like, so you say, God told me to have sugar in my energy drinks, and I'm like, well, God told me that we shouldn't.
Right.
Where do we go from there?
The tough part is I think a lot of people uses it as a validation
Right.
for what it is that they're planning on doing. So it's like, I'm doing this because God told me. Well, what if God didn't tell you? And now you're doing
Right.
something that you think God told you.
Yeah.
Like
What if you imagined it?
if someone told me the other day,
Mhm.
let's say Jess told me the other day, X,
Right.
Y, and Z, and someone asked me, "Hey, did you and Jess talk about this?" I'd be like, maybe.
Yeah.
that's
Right.
and that's IRL. Like I can't
Yeah.
even
That really happened.
correct. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I'll be honest, I use a little B machine
Right.
all the time, just because I can't remember stuff. And you're telling me God said something to me? I don't know about all that.
Right.
That seems a little questionable at best.
I'll tell you, I've had things happen in dreams that, those dreams that are super realistic.
Oh yeah.
And then you wake up and you have trouble differentiating, was this real or was this a dream?
Yep.
That could easily happen. Easily.
You know, I don't generally
Mhm.
remember my dreams.
Yeah.
But for like 2 weeks straight, this was like a month ago,
Mm-hmm.
every morning I would wake up and remember my dream.
Oh, really?
For like 2 weeks.
I wonder what caused that.
Maybe near death. I don't know what was wrong with me. Like anything's possible. I don't know.
As an older adult, that's the first cause you think of for everything strange that happens.
100%. I must be near death, man.
I lost my car keys. Well, I'm losing it. This is the end.
I'm a goner.
It's all downhill. Before I replaced my mattress, I was getting awful like neck and back pains. I'm like, oh, well, this is just the end of my life.
Downhill from here.
Yeah. And then I replaced the mattress and I'm like, oh, I'm alive again.
Yeah. Rejuvenated. Reincarnation.
Yeah. You can't keep those things too long, apparently.
You know, Jess was telling me a while back ago, she's like, we need a new mattress. I'm like, what? Why? She goes, man, it's got blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I just broke this thing in. We've had it for like, I don't know how long, forever, 15 years or probably something like that.
You know what they say? It's like 3 to 5 years tops.
What?
Yeah. No one I know does that.
No. First off, you'd go broke doing that.
Yeah. That's definitely put out by Big Mattress to get you.
Big time. What kind of mattress did you get out of curiosity?
I got the Endy mattress, one of those ones that come in a big box and you let it loose and it just goes unrolls itself.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. After having a bad mattress for so long and it was hurting my back and my neck and stuff like that, I laid on this once it had finally fully grown to its size. And it was painful because everything was popping back into place. And I was like, oh, ow, oh, ow. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is normal. This is what normal feels like.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those Tempur-Pedic or whatever they are?
Is that the one that like keeps hot and cold or whatever?
I think it does that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wondered what one of those would be like.
Are they also the ones where it's got a motor and it will sit you up so you can read and stuff?
I believe it is.
I want one of those real bad, but I feel like that's the last step to admitting you're elderly.
I mean, I'm close enough, Nick. I just let it go.
I feel like we shouldn't be ready to admit that yet.
I'm fine with it, Nick. I'm just accepting it at this point. Tempur-Pedic. I'm double checking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Why?
These things are expensive.
Oh, I bet they are. It's a word that everyone knows.
Oh my gosh.
What are we looking at here?
I'll be honest. I'm a little shocked. Like I did not anticipate this. So for the advanced pressure relieving power one, whatever that means. Right.
That sounds like something I'd want.
$1,999.
Ooh.
That's for a queen.
Oh, right. Okay.
For the advanced pressure relief plus cooling comfort.
Right.
$4,299 for a queen.
I'll have a bad back and neck before I get that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like the owner of Minecraft owns that. That's not.
The crazy part is I'm looking, that little adjuster thing we're talking about, that's separate. You got to buy that separate.
Oh, you don't even get that.
No.
What a ripoff.
There's also those sleep number beds. Have you seen those where
I've seen that.
Like really hot or not hot, but really hard or really soft?
Right.
Because what kind of mattress do you like, Nick? Firm?
Firm.
Okay, me too. Me too. I'm just judging you. a little bit. Nick.
I think all men prefer the firm mattress.
Correct.
And maybe women like the soft one, but maybe I'm just making a judgment. I don't know.
Hey, there's no women here. We can judge away, Nick.
Yeah. Well, they're on our voice one. There is.
That is true. Most popular, the number ones, looks like about $1,000.
Okay.
Or wait a second. No, that's how much you can save. Oh my God.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
Man, I'm getting away from all these Nicks. This just seems expensive to me.
Yeah, you better say no to your wife. No new mattress.
No new mattress. That's right.
Or get one of these ones that I got. They're not too bad, like $700.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it's not too bad.
That's
Canadian dollars. That's like 50 cents American.
What size is that? Queen?
Yeah, that's the queen.
We've got a king.
I think it's like 8'9".
Oh,
something
that's
like
not
that.
bad.
No, it's not too bad. Just the mattress is not the box spring and stuff, but
That's perfect.
it's worth it. I'll tell you that. It's worth it.
I think our mattress is great, Nick. I'm not going to
Yeah.
give her no ideas. She's going to try to change
Okay.
some stuff.
Yeah, we'll just cut this part out.
Cut. Snip, 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 snip.
Yeah, exactly.
I've already told her that because you have to understand, like we will generally look at, okay, what do we need to buy now? Like that's always
Right.
with 3 kids. It's always like, okay, we got this expense, and then we got this expense, and then we got this expense. So it's funny because I've not had a car payment now in like goodness, probably 2 years.
Man, I'm surprised you're so anxious to get back into it.
I don't. But the thing is my daytime job, I know folks,
Right.
if freaking Ghost would give us our doggone sponsorship. But I'm sitting here thinking, I drive every single day. So
Right.
like, and I drive far. Like some days it's like tomorrow's going to be a super long, super far day. Like it's going to be 2 hours one direction just to get to where I'm going.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever that happens, it's like you got to have a car that's got decent mileage on it. So like my car now has just turned over 150,000 miles.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't want to risk potential breakdown at any point in time. And like, I know it's just a matter of time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, it's inevitable. It always happens.
Always going to happen. And I've been pretty good with this one, knock on wood. Like I've had one time that I was quote unquote stranded and it was my battery just died.
Oh, really?
No indications prior. Just I went out from work one day and it just would not turn over.
Huh.
And it was freezing cold. So I had to walk all the way to Walmart, get a new battery, walk all the way, in which it wasn't super far. Walmart was probably from my office, probably half a mile. So I had to walk like half a mile, get a battery, carry a freaking, I don't know how heavy that battery is, but when you carry it for half a mile, it's freaking heavy.
Oh, yeah. I bet it would be.
But I carried it back. I uninstalled. I didn't have a toolkit, so I bought a toolkit at Walmart. Walmart really got me that day pretty good.
Yeah.
But
that's what they wait for.
It is. It's like, I bet this guy's battery is about to go out. But I changed the battery right there in the parking lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's not much to that, really.
No, it's super simple. But that's the only time. That's the only knock. I got some wood around here. Listen.
Last time I went for an inspection, they had to fix my brakes, and
Ooh.
Then they didn't work when I was coming home. So
go figure.
You'd think that'd be a lot more scary than it is. I was just like, well, of course this is happening.
Nick's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Take the wheel, Jesus.
That's me and my mild blasphemy again. Sorry.
I mean, listen, maybe that is something you would say, Nick. We're not going to judge you for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been in one other life-threatening situation. That's when I was on a plane and it was storming so bad that it started to come down and there was no runway underneath of us. And they didn't realize for some reason. I don't know if the instruments weren't working. So they pulled up suddenly and they pulled up so fast. I don't know if they nudged a button or if it just happens, but all those masks come down.
Oh, God.
And there was screaming everywhere. And the only thought that crossed my head as I was like, this is tiring. And I said, I might as well take a little nap.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Jump up at the last moment?
Well, my parents, they picked me up from the airport one time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened if they misjudged the runway. But when the plane came in, they went really sharp where they didn't need to. And I'm looking at the wing almost touching the ground.
Ooh, that wouldn't have been good.
No. And because that's where all the fuel is, Nick.
Right.
But I'm watching this and they said they've never seen me so white.
Oh.
Getting off of a plane.
You were transitioning into a ghost.
Listen, and they could be our sponsor. I'm just saying. Right. Just put that out there.
I meant like the transparent ghost kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Translucent, baby.
Yeah. But
it's crazy.
You can't do anything about it. If the worst happens, you just do you want to spend your last minutes terrified and crapping yourself, or do you want to take a little rest?
I mean, I would opt in for a little rest, Nick.
Yeah.
It's the way to
Yeah.
go. Speaking of white, I've
Mhm.
got a little interesting statistic for you, Nick.
Okay.
So I came across this article the other day and I was like,
Mhm.
this can't be true because science told me it's not true.
Oh, okay. This is interesting.
So in the world of super white, there's this place called Antarctica.
Yes, it's well known for that kind of thing, in fact.
Correct. Now, what's interesting is what's the number one thing that they always tell us about our planet and the fears with Antarctica?
Uh, Our planet and the ice caps melting, or
Correct, right? We're in a
right.
phase of global warming,
Right.
and it's mostly your guys' fault. Those of you that's watching this, your fault. Okay, go green. What are you doing with your life? Anyway, it's interesting because the new data's came out about this, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And for decades, scientists have observed the glaciers retreating, is what they call it.
Okay.
And it was contributing to what they called raising, the sea levels, the rising of the sea levels.
Yeah.
But recently, a surprising twist has emerged between 2021 and 2023. Antarctica's ice sheet,
Uh-huh.
it experienced a notable mass gain, reversing a long-standing trend of decline.
Oh, that's interesting. What about the Arctic? Same thing there, or
I can only assume. I mean, if Antarctica had an increase, I can only assume the same.
Well, I don't know. What if it's tilting differently?
Could be. But I would think we
Yeah.
would know, wouldn't we?
I wouldn't.
Well, what they're saying is,
I'd have to wait till a podcast and you tell me.
oh, we could make this up. Even if we don't know, Nick, we could. That's how we get on the map, Nick.
That's right.
That's exactly what happened, folks.
Yeah.
You can trust us. We're podcasters. We get inside information you guys don't have.
That's right. We're part of, no, I'm not even going to joke about that. I was going to say we're part of the misinformation machine, but then people will take that really seriously.
They probably will. Did I seem convincing on that?
Yes.
Perfect. We'll cut that part out and we'll just go with it. What they determined is they discovered the Antarctica ice sheet gained approximately 108 gigatons of ice annually
That sounds like a lot.
during that period.
Annually in all those years. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have any theories about why it reversed like that?
Well, they said the gain is primarily attributed to increased snowfall in East Antarctica's Wilkes Land and Queen Mary Land regions.
Okay.
So here's the thing, and this is I've said this for years, and I'm pretty sure that people's going to get butthurt about this, but whenever someone comes to me and they go, "Yeah, this world is heating up,
Right.
and it's our fault," and I sit there and I think, wait a second, wasn't our Earth really hot for a while, and then it got really cold for a while? Then it got really hot for a while. Then it got really cold for a while. Like, I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know. Might have been ancient civilizations doing that stuff, Nick.
Well, we have had episodes where we've talked about ancient civilizations that we've lost track of.
That's true.
And them having nuclear bombs and such, and, great technologies that we've lost. So it's possible that happens.
It is possible. I would never say never, I guess.
Right. But you're more leaning into the theory that the earth goes in cycles and stuff like that.
I think it's like everything else in life. Like, you see, different things occurring on the planet, and you just understand that some things go through rotations. It's just there's certain things.
No, I'm not going to discount that. I do believe in climate change, and stuff like that. And I definitely know that pollution is a fact, because I mean, it does get up in the atmosphere and that kind of thing. However, I do think there could be cycles as well. It could be both. Like, it could naturally get to a certain temperature and then we could force it past a livable temperature. Or maybe the opposite is true. It goes naturally into a cold period and we've polluted enough that it causes the coldest areas to get too cold.
Could.
It could be both.
I think the only thing that I would question on any of that
Mm-hmm.
is when you look at the grand scheme of things of how our civilizations has worked as a
Right.
whole since I was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things have changed, but like I guess the things where I lean back and I go, man, there's a reason they're telling me this, right? Like I think we talked
Right.
about this a couple weeks ago. It's like at this point, whenever someone tells me something now, I go,
Yeah.
what's your agenda?
Right. And I think that's a healthy mindset to be in.
Because think about it.
As long as we stay open to new info, that's the thing.
Correct. Because think about it. They say it all the time. You need to go green.
Right.
But what they don't tell you is you get rid of all the cars that does gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then my question becomes, how are you generating the power to refuel these
Right.
cars? Well, now you're building these mega factories
Yeah.
that's causing what? More pollution.
More pollution.
And the pollution is higher than what it would had we just stuck with the gas.
Right. But you know what? I think we've split off into two topics here though.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's one thing. Well, so the first topic is climate change and does pollution affect that?
Mm-hmm.
So we've sort of left that, but now we're in the topic, and you know I have strong feelings about that.
Mm-hmm.
Is all this recycling, anti-pollution, switching technologies, is it for show or is it doing something?
It's all for show.
And I believe that too, because remember that example that I told you the other day. Here, you are not allowed to use plastic bags at any store in Canada. And what do we do with plastic? We recycle it.
Right.
So it doesn't end up in the landfill. So we've switched to reusable bags. Well, inevitably, you have to get rid of the reusable bags. You get too many of them because you forget your bags. And I checked my little app that tells me how to recycle, because we are a recycle nutty place where I live. Like, we've got to have 3 or 4 bags of different stuff. And I'm like, where do reusable bags go? Garbage, landfill. So if we were using plastic bags, none of them would go into landfill, but we
Right.
switched to reusable. So we do add to the landfill.
Correct.
Like, and people are probably going to say, well, they break down. Yeah, but only when a certain amount. Like,
Right.
if we have hundreds of thousands or millions of them out there, that can't be good.
Well, that's my thing, right? It's like everything in life. We want to check a box. It doesn't matter what's on the box or what the box represents. We, as a society, we want to check some sort of a box. And that is kind of where a lot of problems come into being, in my personal opinion, right? Like, well, you played SimCity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the most efficient thing there was them doggone coal power plants.
Mm-hmm.
The wind power plants didn't do anything, but they were better for the ecosystem of the Sims, right?
Yeah.
So you sit there and you go, the problem is life isn't a video game. Like, we have no clue what the implications of that is.
Yeah. I think wind's pretty safe except for birds, but who cares about those?
Yeah. Who cares about a bird?
But it's not. So my thing is I do think we need to do something to reduce pollution. However, the individuals that are expected to do it are not the main problem. It's industry. Have you heard of this thing called cap and trade?
No.
So what it is each company's allowed to pollute an X amount.
Oh.
These big companies. And, in a very simplistic terms, if a company doesn't pollute to its maximum, they can take all the remaining credits they have and sell them to a super polluting company so that they can continue to pollute and not get fined.
That's crazy.
So you could have a bunch of companies that have X amount of credits and they hardly use any, and they just, to make extra money, sell them to this company that just pollutes more and more. The pollution has to be stopped on a corporate level, not on Nick and Bert and Tom and Jill and Sarah who have to like carry around a fabric bag wherever they go,
Right.
or or aren't allowed to go on a summer road trip anymore because
Right.
it costs too much because we're being taxed for that. It's
Correct.
these big companies.
And I just watched something, what was it, last week, I think? It may have been Dr. Phil. I can't remember. It's somebody.
Right.
But whoever it was, interviewed this couple, and this couple, they lived in this, whatever it was. It was like some sort of like it was all their own land. Like they had their own
Right.
land. There was nothing around them. They was in the middle of nowhere. It was like
Mhm.
this ranch.
Right.
And they ended up putting the computers and the servers that they use for Meta AI, the
Mhm.
Facebook company.
Right.
And they talk about how it's almost unbearable now because that facility requires so much water
Right.
that they actually have to allow water to trickle into gallons of like old milk containers.
Mhm.
And they have to use that because they can't get enough water out of their faucets at one time to do anything.
That's awful.
On top of that,
Mhm.
I don't know why this is. Like, at first I thought it was like a security thing or something, but at nighttime, the lights
Mhm.
are so bright at that facility,
Right.
and there's like across like a little spot from where they are. It's so bright,
Mhm.
they use blackout curtains, and the light still comes through the bottoms.
Yeah, that's got to be an awful way to live.
And they talked about how horrible it is. They don't
Mhm.
have water. They never get peace from the lighting.
Right.
And they said that at this point, like their once dream ranch in the middle of nowhere is now being
Right.
compromised by this one facility. And it's all
Yeah.
just for, Facebook AI.
Right. Well, they say that basically all the different AIs are taking massive amounts of, water and electricity and stuff that it's also become a big pollutant.
Oh, yeah, big time. Well, then you sit there and you see this kind of stuff and you go, I contribute to that because I use a lot of
Yeah.
AI stuff. So it's like, where's the fine line in that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if that was me,
Mhm.
okay, like here's a great example. Like we
Right.
got AT&T, the fiber optic. We've not got it yet. We still have the old system,
Right.
but they moved a cord, like their fiber optic, above our
Mhm.
ground in our yard. And they said, hey,
Right.
once it gets nice outside, we'll come back out and we'll bury the line. Well, they've never
Right.
buried the line.
Oh, really? It's just sitting out
It
there.
just sits out there. Well, the thing is, it's beside a fence. And of course, that's where
Mm.
I mow and everything at. Right.
Right.
And it's a kind of a pain because, I don't want to mow over it, which would cause the
Right.
fiber optic to break. Then they're going to have to come out, repair it, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Right.
And they'll bill that you for that, guaranteed.
I I told Jess, I said, I kind of want to at this point because they're not coming out, mow
Right.
over it. And then when they come out and they go, well, what happened? I thought you guys buried the line. The grass was so tall,
Yeah.
it's in the grass. I didn't see it.
Yeah. You said you were going to do it.
It said you was going to bury it. And then
Right.
when they don't bury it the next week, mow
Yeah.
over it again.
Mhm.
And then when they come out, go, oh my God, that grass just gets so tall. I can't see nothing
Yeah.
back there. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Really?
But I have to mow, and there's like a section of, I don't know, maybe like a foot and a half between the fence and where that line is. And I have to use
Yeah.
a weed eater to cut it. And then you're trying to cut it even with the grass that you
Right.
mowed. Like it's a pain, a complete pain.
Yeah. Without them even servicing you.
Yeah. Now
That's the worst part.
what Jess said was what would be smart
Yeah.
is when we call to be like, hey, let's make this change, but to do it, you got to bury this line in our yard. I'm like,
Right.
might not be a bad idea. That might be a good idea right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be.
For sure.
But there's another thing my friend always says, like, I don't know if you know this, but our internet and cell phones and stuff like that are worse than a lot of third world countries, and we pay them among the most in the world for them.
Oh yeah.
And one of my friends is a staunch believer. He gets the lowest cell phone package, and he goes without
Mm-hmm.
because he says you got to vote with your money, but no one else is doing that.
Right.
So the vote don't count. So while he's right, he's going without to prove a point. Are we all willing to do that? I'm not.
I'm not.
I want lower prices, but I want my fast internet,
Right.
you know? So we're sort of stuck.
Well, and that's where it gets a little tricky, right? It's like, I'll
Mm,
be honest, like our cell phone plan has always been super cheap. But like
right.
now I'm going to like sections in Ohio where like there is no cell phone coverage. Like they flat out do not have towers.
Really?
Yeah. And it's mostly because there's so many hills. Like they can't get a
Yeah.
good reception. But I did opt in for Starlink.
Okay.
So like when there's no towers, I'm now getting my phone access from Starlink.
Okay.
And I can tell you, big fan. I'm not a big fan of
Yeah.
Starlink,
Right.
but it's a benefit. And some people, like for me, like when I take my telescope out, Starlink's always in the way
Yeah.
because you see it. It comes right across your freaking viewfinder. And then like it can
Mhm.
ruin like shots if you're taking like astrophotography and stuff like that
Yeah.
because you'll see them. They're bright. They're bright as hell
Right. I They get reported as UFOs
all the time.
constantly.
It's almost like the subreddit that I have on Reddit where everyone's like, this is a doggone ghost. I'm like, no, that's just a
Right.
bee. That is a bee right there on that screen. That is a moth. You see that? Not
Yeah.
not the moth band. That's a moth. Okay.
Right. I don't spend a lot of time on Reddit, so I was just hearing your stories of it.
Yeah.
But like I was showing you earlier, I wrote a thing that, scrapes the most upvoted things in the r/ghost and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I was looking at the top 5, and I'm like, that person needs to clean their mirror.
Yeah.
That person has a sheet hanging where they don't remember hanging it.
And you know what the
That
worst part
person, I
is?
don't see anything at all.
I'm
What?
a mod on r-ghosts.
Yeah. So you see all this
I
nonsense.
see it all the time. But the tough part is like now at this
Yeah.
point, I'm like, I'm not cleaning this. I'm like,
It's,
they can figure it
it's
out.
kind of embarrassing to be someone who believes in it and then seeing that stuff on there, because that's going to be the top stories represented to new people who come there.
Correct. And the hard part is it's like for me, like
Mhm.
I'll just use my subreddit as an example. I don't know how many people's in there, like 100 some people, I think, but
Mhm.
there's one person that's in there and she thinks everything is a ghost. And
Do you
there
remember
was
the person's name?
uh
It's not like Wonderful Girl or something like that, or
no,
oh, okay.
I can tell you because they post in mine pretty regularly. But let me see. Let me take a little looky see. But they posted remember that video I sent you? And I'm like, hey, look at this.
Mhm.
They think this
Yeah.
shirt's moving, blah, blah, blah.
While you're doing that, I'm also sending you a picture I want you to look at after, which I got from there.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this actually.
Yeah, no, that to me actually looks like something, because that first picture is a kid who died in an accident in, I think, 1998.
Yep.
And the second picture was taken by the responders to the accident, where they were just taking pictures of the vehicles.
Yep.
And that kind of, to me, and maybe it's just my pattern seeking brain, but that actually looks like that person.
It does. I would agree with that. I put the name inside the thing so we don't call out the person on the actual podcast.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But that person, they always post stuff. You know what's interesting though? When you look at that second picture from that you just sent me,
Mm-hmm.
remember how I say sometimes I feel like there's a rip in the dimensional plane?
Yep.
That's the impression that a picture like that gives me.
Well, it looks like the person's screaming like right before an accident.
Have you watched John Griffin's YouTube channel?
I don't think so.
I interviewed that guy and he does paranormal research.
Right.
And he's got a new YouTube channel. And he has pictures of his dead brother that he has taken, and he communicates with his brother.
He's the one whose brother helps him on his investigations, right? We have talked about him before.
Correct. And it's when you look at his brother and then you look at those things he's captured, I'm like, that looks like his brother. And then when you hear the EVPs and then you hear old videos of his brother, I'm like,
yeah,
that sounds just like his brother.
Oh, really?
And that's the crazy thing about Wildwood. They say you don't get just EVPs. You get EVPs that sound like your family members or friends who have maybe possibly passed on.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about EVPs in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because I've been to some ghost investigations around here where they use those new spirit boxes.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, at least most of the time, they're just playing dictionary files.
Yeah.
Like in random things. So I don't like those. But the old magnetic tape recordings, I thought those were quite real.
Yep.
Now, I watched a YouTube video recently, and the title of the video is "This Place is Infested with Demons, Diablo's Prison."
See,
have you heard it?
So, first off, whenever I hear a title that tells me something's demon infested,
right,
the red flag goes up for me because I go, really? That's what we're saying on that?
See, I think that's like an AI generated title for trending things.
Because
I watched the whole video and they never mentioned demons hardly at all.
See, that's false advertising. I hate that.
Right. But the interesting thing that they got out of there is they were doing EVP in a number of different parts in the basement of the prison at once. And all of the devices that were recording recorded the same phrase at the same time in different locations. And I've never heard of that happening before. And I don't even have an explanation for how that would happen.
Well, that's the interesting thing that we're going to be testing when we go, Nick, is so for anyone that doesn't know, I was just telling Nick, we're taking the mixer with us when we go, and I'm going to set the mixer in one central spot. And what we've really been trying to figure out is the best way to put microphones in every single room. And of course, we're going to have microphones on our bodies, in our cameras. So we're going to be saturated with audio devices. But one of the things that I really wanted to test was not digital media, but actual magnetic tape. So old school cassettes. I bought a box of 14 cassette tapes, and I think they're like 60 minutes, I think, aside. But what I want to do is when we go into a room, I'm going to carry this old school tape recorder, and I'm going to set it down. I'm going to record the entire time we're in there. And I just want to see what kind of differences we're going to get depending on what it is. And also, I think I've mentioned this a few times on our podcast. We also have this bad boy that I'm going to be using, which is the old school DV.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one.
Oh, me too. Film recorder. So it's not digital. There's not going to be any digital aliasing. But I mean, this is those big old honking back in the day, camcorders. And we're going to actually use this to capture things in film.
This is Blair Witch style stuff.
Yes. And that's what I want to do. I want to try. I'm curious. And I've been thinking about this a lot here lately. So it's funny we brought this up. I've really thought here lately, what if we're regressing our progress by employing too many technologies that maybe don't work in that? It's like, I learned this not that long ago. Did you know you can buy Roundup? And Roundup is extremely dangerous. They say it's a carcinogen. Did you know that you can take vinegar concentrate, and I think it's like 5 or 30% vinegar concentrate. You can spray it on the weeds and it'll kill the weeds better than Roundup.
Really?
And we've had vinegar for as long as time can be.
Yeah.
Roundup's less effective, but it's commercially sold
Right. And dangerous.
and dangerous.
Right.
What if the same thing is happening from like a ghost side where it's like, we've got this better stuff. So we got this digital technology.
Right.
What if there's something about the magnetic tapes that's in there?
Well, we're always measuring for ghosts and stuff electromagnetic frequencies.
Right.
I mean, it's right in the title, and magnetic tape, there's bound to be some overlap there.
Correct.
Now, like, the technology is better because the purpose of the technology isn't ghost hunting.
Right.
It's other stuff.
Right.
But if your purpose is ghost hunting, I think you want the magnetic tape.
Right. Oh, did I show you my my EMF detector?
Oh, did you get a new one?
Yes.
Oh, no, you didn't.
It's a big boy.
Is it?
And it doesn't have lights. It's got an actual print, like a readout to the 100th.
Oh, really?
But it also tests for radiation.
Mm-hmm.
And it also tests for electromagnetic fields, radiation, and something else. I can't remember what the other thing is. But it tests for all three things simultaneously. And if it peaks, it tells you. And in fact, the LCD screen goes from green, which is good, to orange, which is questionable, to red, which is like, this is really high levels.
At these places we're going, it's going to be red nonstop.
It's probably going to be red. We're going to manifest some stuff there, Nick, ourselves.
Hopefully not radiation. Hopefully it's just the EMF that's red.
They say that they believe that ghosts, the other one's magnetic field. So one's an electromagnetic field, one's a magnetic field, and one is radiation. They say that they believe that when ghosts start to manifest, it causes a form of radiation, which is also what they say about UFOs.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that is true. The Rendlesham Forest case in particular comes to mind.
Correct. When we talked about crop circles.
Right. Right. Because they're always irradiated.
Always.
Like the legit ones anyway.
Correct. Except for those guys that had those planks that was using the...
I know. I think they were the ones who were full of crap.
But yeah, we're going to be employing some things that hasn't really been seen before. And I'm super curious what that's going to do also. And it makes me wonder if the things that we're employing, if maybe that will give us a leg up on some of that EVP stuff.
Well, you know what? You throw enough darts on a board, you're going to hit the bullseye eventually.
And here's the thing. Like, I didn't want to go into a location where I'm like, well, I'm doing what these other 50,000 investigators are doing. I'm like, what can I do that's different?
Right. Right.
And
Plus,
the first
it'll be
thing
more interesting.
And the first thing that came to my mind is they always just show this is the audio that happened when I was in this room. No one ever really has audio set up in every single room. So my thing is with the mixer, Jess will be sitting in the room with the mixer and she'll be able. So for those of you that can't tell, and I don't know if the camera is going to be set up well enough, like whenever there's an audio source, you can see the green bubble that's going up and down, and you probably won't see it. But like when Nick talks, his goes up. So each one of these are separate. Yeah. So like go ahead and do it again, Nick.
Test.
So I'm going to try to make it so you can see it. Like his bubble popped up too. But what I want to do is put a microphone in each room. So when Jess is sitting down and she's watching this board, she'll be able to see if there's noises happening in a room that's loud enough. Even if we're not in that room, she can go, hey guys, this room seems to have some type of activity, even if it's not on camera, because if it's audio, she'll be able to see it in real time. And it's super easy to see because you go, oh wait, that just blipped up one thing.
Yeah. Room 4 has activity. Get in there.
Exactly. And then we'll be able to go in real time. We won't have to just hope when we get there that something's going on.
We're doing like tactical ghost strikes.
And the other thing that, and I changed my methodology on this one, Nick. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that Insta360 camera that I've got.
Right.
When we walk into a room, put on that mono tripod right in the center of the room, and then we continue our investigation.
Okay.
Because it's always going to be recording in full 360 up and down.
Yeah. So it can't miss anything, really.
Can't miss anything. So if something's happening, we're going to know in real time.
Yeah. Except if the ghost knows this and it manifests right where the pole is. Because those things edit out the pole automatically.
They do. I don't know if you saw the new thing on there. It just happened with this last update It's
Mhm.
360 me is what they call it.
Right.
And it's very counterintuitive. But what happens is it's the pole and you put it straight out in front of you. So one of the lenses goes straight up in the air, the other one goes straight
Yeah.
down to the ground.
Uh-huh.
But the way it records, because it separates that stick,
Right.
it makes it to where it sees your full body walking down a sidewalk or wherever you're at and you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that in action because the GoPro 360 does that too.
Oh, wow. I think
Yeah.
that's so cool.
It just looks like you have your hand out like this.
Yes.
There's nothing even in your hand.
No,
Like it's wild.
it's super wild. I've
Yeah.
tested it. I don't, I wish there was a way that they had like a belt that was sturdy enough to just hold it straight so you wouldn't have to use your
Right.
hands, so you could still use your hands.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can see like you're constantly holding your hand like this. So it's
Right.
obvious there's a pole there. It's just somehow it's taking it out. You know what I mean?
If you had a strong enough chest harness, you could put a little hole on that too, I suppose. But
Those
that's going to
things
be
are
very
so
awkward.
they're so heavy. And then you've got the
I know.
monopods. Those are kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Like the monopod I have is 6 foot long when you do the full extension.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns into a tripod. So you press a button
Yeah.
on the bottom and it expands out to the tripod.
Right.
But I don't know. Interesting thought process anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be exactly what we'd like to do, but I mean, having your arm out like this ain't a big deal.
Correct. Yeah, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like I've been using it here and there, just kind of trying to get the use for it.
Mhm.
So that way I'm kind of like, I understand how to edit and stuff. So I've been playing around with it here lately, just kind of on and off. Like the other one I've got, which is the Insta 360, it's just whatever the 8K newest, what Insta 364 or whatever it is,
Right.
Action 4, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Like that was just, there's a lens right in the front and it's the bag boy. What's the lens? Oh, why can't I think of the name? It's the, starts with an L. Why can I not think of it? All the camera,
It's gone.
man, all the camera manufacturers use their
Right.
lenses. Why can't I think of the name of it?
Not the Leica, is it?
Leica, that's it. They use the
Oh, okay.
Leica lenses
Oh,
on those
really?
camera.
Those are
Yeah.
expensive lenses.
That's why the Insta 4 is so expensive. I think there's a version
Right.
without it though. I think that might be cheaper.
Yeah.
In the comments down below, I'm sure someone's going to correct me, but I'm pretty sure there's a version with and without. Mine has it.
Right.
I did see the Insta 365. It's supposedly a low light 360.
Oh, yeah?
They've
See,
apparently,
most of the action cameras are not. This one can be. This is the Osmo Action 4,
yep.
and it's got the largest sensor at the time. I don't know if it's different now of all the action cameras.
Supposedly they increased the size of the sensor. I'm not sure what size they went to in this one,
Yeah.
but they said it's like the best low light that Insta 360 has had.
Oh, really?
So I'd be curious to see what that equals out
There's
to.
certain cameras coming out now that, you know how they have RGB sensors in most
Yep.
sensors?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've got RGBA, where the A just calculates light,
Oh, wow.
so it can pick up way lower light situations.
I know that they was employing and I don't exactly know, I should know, but I saw where they was coming out with these high-end cameras that was
Mm-hmm.
also using infrared to differentiate the light spectrum.
Mm,
And they were creating, I mean, full color in low light.
really?
In which, for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, you know, I have probably one of the best low light that came out years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to be using this when we go out there. But I mean, this
This
is
bad boy.
literally, it's literally the Sony. So for the Sony cameras, you know, I think this goes all the way down to, I believe, 26,000. And when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, like, you know, you start getting a lot of pixelation really at like 10,000,
Right.
11,000 with most cameras. But that one goes
Mhm.
down to, I think, 26,500. This is a few years old. It's the
Right.
Sony Alpha, whatever it is. I think it's Alpha
Right.
2, Sony Alpha 2, and I think it's now Sony Alpha 4, I think is out.
Okay.
But and I think that goes all the way down to 48,000 if I remember correctly.
Man, that's great. That's incredibly low light.
Oh yeah. What's amazing is I watched a Film Right, and I know we've talked about them a few times on here.
Mm-hmm.
They took
Yeah.
that camera that I've got there outside at like dusk,
Mm-hmm.
and they went from 100 ISO to 26,500, which is what that is. And it looked like
Right.
it was going from nighttime to daytime is what it looked like. And
Man, that's crazy.
that's the whole reason I bought that camera.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. And, you know, there's always going to be artifacting, and there's always going to be some form of, there's no way around it, some form of
Right.
pixelation. That's just going to occur anytime there's low light
Yeah.
because it's guessing. It's in a
Right.
constant state of guess. But here's the thing. We have technology nowadays that can negate some of that.
Mm.
So, you know, when I bought that camera, that technology wasn't really in place. But now there's companies
Yeah.
like Topaz Labs that they
Right.
do a great job. You just have to have a strong enough computer to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's cameras too that are the dual native ISO. So
Yes.
they're recording in multiple ISO ranges at the same time. So if you
Yes.
guess wrong, you might still be okay.
Correct.
Technology is
Fascinating.
jumping all the time.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
I'm sure anyone who listens or watches us knows that we're super excited about technology, even the bad stuff that might come.
Oh,
I'm excited
yeah.
for.
I mean, before we started this episode, Nick and
Mhm.
I was talking about 11 Labs, and I've gave them
Yeah.
up to 5 hours of my voice now. And I can legit have a computer say exactly what I would say, and you wouldn't even know that it was me saying it or not saying it.
Right. Right. And when you pumped up the exaggeration, sounds
Mhm.
just like you.
And that's
I
what's
wouldn't be able to
crazy.
tell.
It's literally
Yeah.
crazy. But think about the implications that this could have in a good way. And it's the things that, like, let's use, for example, someone gets like throat cancer and then they
Right.
lose their voice entirely. Well,
Mhm.
now if they've got that recording, they could potentially have their voice still.
Yeah. Like you could just like carry on exactly as you were. Like once it like gets a little more lower latency,
Yeah.
um you could carry on that way. Also, for automatic translation devices, it could come out in your voice in
Right.
another language.
100%. And you can do that. It's called
Yeah.
on 11 Labs, it's called auto dubbing. So I could take a video that
Yeah.
I do in English right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can place that video in there, do the auto dub, and it will auto dub me in any language that they have in my voice.
I think it changes your lip motions too, so it looks like you're actually saying it.
Could be. Could very well be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if it's not there, I know that different things do that because I saw it in action one day,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, "Why is everyone talking like this?"
Yeah. That's insane. But you know, like I look at like my podcast and all the different countries that listen to my
Mhm.
podcast, and clearly it's those people that listen in English because I don't think I've got,
Yeah.
I don't think I might, but I'm pretty sure I don't have auto dubbing in different languages or like the CC,
Yeah,
but
you might have
the
closed
closed caption
captions,
maybe.
but probably not auto dubbing.
I don't know because I think you got to opt in for those things, and maybe it just
Yeah.
automatically does it. I don't know, but like when I look at my
Right.
podcast and I look at, we're talking just audible, so they're not watching it for the video.
Mhm.
Because anyone that knows my podcast is only on video on YouTube, and I think ours is the same way. But
Right.
everywhere else, it's only audio, only.
Mhm. Yeah.
But when I look at freaking like my podcast, I can see all the numbers. Nick can see it on the other ones. But when I look at it and I see all the different countries that I know English is not the first language, I go, wow, first off,
Mhm.
it's crazy that someone from this country listens to me. Holy smokes. I don't know what video just popped today, but someone's watching a lot of it.
Nice.
But like prime example, this month, United States, Netherlands, United Kingdoms, Australia. This one blows my mind. Nigeria, Spain, Ireland, India, Poland, Russia, Sweden. And then it gets so low, I can't see the other countries. So it's just too low to see those stats. But I mean, that is mind blowing to me.
Well, that's the great thing about YouTube and the internet. Like, it takes you places.
But that's the crazy thing. This isn't even YouTube. This is literally just
this is the voice ones.
Spotify, Apple, like all of those things. Like if I open it up for the entire year, this blows my mind. I didn't even know this. I just looked for the entire year. The U.S. is by far my biggest demographic, 82% of everyone who listens. I'd
expect that anyway.
United Kingdom, 4.46%. Still, for not being us. Singapore is next.
Oh, that's interesting.
Third largest demographic that listens to me. Then Canada. Oh my gosh. Then China, Nigeria, Ireland, Brazil, Russia, Netherlands, Australia, Argentina, Spain, Germany, Sweden, Poland.
Wow.
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, it can take you places you'd never be able to reach.
Well, that's for sure.
In the olden days.
And for anyone out there, if you're curious, Apple is where I get the vast majority of my listens at 39.22, followed very closely by Android at 38.6.
Now, if we're talking locations that Deceptive Reality has heard most, Spotify by a large margin.
Me too. Well, not by a large. Spotify for me is 28% of my listens.
So between Spotify, Apple, and then a bunch of other little ones, all the ones except the top two are negligible. I don't even think about those.
Sure.
But Spotify is like 80%, and Apple Podcasts is only like 20%.
Here's what's crazy for me. Spotify 28.29. That's my highest percentage. If that's any indication of how many other places I'm at.
Yeah.
Apple 20%. Podbean 17. Google Chrome 797.
Yeah.
iHeartRadio 6.95. I don't even know what this is. LAF or LAVF.
Don't know that one.
4.5%. Edge is at 289. Pocket Casts 211. Safari 191.
Yeah. Well, some of those aren't even syndicators, so I don't know why they're showing up there.
It's nuts. What is that? I've never even seen this before. Castbox, Amazon Music. I get a decent amount of plays off Amazon Music.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wouldn't guess that.
See, on Deceptive Reality, Spotify treats us really well because it puts us on like the front pages of things quite often. None of the other ones seem to do that for us.
The fascinating thing for me, and I've never seen this before, the cool thing about Podbean is it'll show you percentage of people listening all the way through.
Right.
And here lately, I've been on a 7-month streak of just people listening all the way through
Oh, that's nice.
Which is hard. Like that's a hard, like people was like, well, everyone listens all the way through. No, they don't.
No.
They do
they don't. Not by a long shot.
Not by a long shot.
Right.
So that's when I really look and I go, okay, I must be doing something right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's insane.
It's them hooks.
Some doggone hooks. That's what it is. Them hooks, get them, boys.
Yeah.
I did something today that I've never done before, and I'm super curious how it's going to work out on YouTube.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
I did so a lot of, and I used to get offended by this. People would say, I wish you would do another like little episode of stories, but so people could sleep. So like no super hardcore sound effects or anything like that. Just you telling stories all the way through. So I took an hour's worth of stories, news stories, never heard on my channel before. Yeah. And I recorded them with my, what I call my soothing voice. So basically I'm talking like this the vast majority of the time.
ASMR. That's what that is.
And I added a thunderstorm to the background.
Right.
And I just want to see how it does. I'm just curious.
Yeah. When did you release that, or is it
today.
released yet?
I just
Oh yeah,
released
I'm
it today.
interested how that turns out.
I am super curious. Now, it all depends
Yeah,
on if YouTube pushes it out because I've never done that
yeah,
before. So for YouTube, they're like, well, this sucks. Like, who do we give this to? Whenever you do something you've never done
mhm,
on YouTube, they struggle to push it out. So that's going to be something people's going to
yeah.
have to search for, find, and then try.
I'll tell you, a big portion of YouTube these days is sleep aids like ASMR,
Mhm.
sleep stories, ambient sounds, all that stuff. Huge on YouTube these days.
Well, I'm definitely testing it because I'm super
Yeah,
curious what it's gonna work, what it's gonna sound like. I'm as far from
right.
like how people perceive it. So, like I listen to
Yeah,
it and the stories are fast. Like I wouldn't be able to go to sleep if I listened to the stories
right.
because like the stories that's on there are so good. And
Hmm.
I make it very clear at the beginning. I took Reddit stories, and you can't tell someone else's Reddit story. You
Yeah,
can't do it. So I changed the names, the
right.
locations, the details. I
Hmm.
keep the principle of the story there, but I might add a little bit of Hollywood sprinkle
Yeah,
dust on it.
little seasoning on it.
Little seasoning. Like in the real story, it might be a doctor, and in my version, it's a nurse.
Right.
Same field, but maybe a different approach. But the stories was so good. And like if there was something really good in the story, I'm like, I'm keeping that. Like I don't really care.
Mm,
Like a great example, there was a story in there that I told, and I think it was towards the end of the hour, but it's
yeah.
about this woman. It was during COVID. She went into the hospital. And when she went
Hmm.
into the hospital, because of the time frame, you couldn't have
Yeah.
visitors. And she went in to have a baby. And
Right.
while she was there, this nurse started coming in. I think it's like, I forget what the real name was. It doesn't matter anyway. But this nurse
Right.
came in and she was like, hey, I'm part of the team that helps with like helping you out and blah, blah, blah. And I think
Right.
I called her Nurse Betty in the story, but that wasn't her real name. But
Yeah.
um, come to find out, whenever real nurses would come in, she'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to get out of their way, blah, blah, blah. And she would go stand. She was with this woman the entire time.
Right.
So when her husband or boyfriend, whatever it was, ended up coming in, she was telling him about this nurse. And the other nurse that was in there is like, we don't have anybody on our payroll based on that name.
Right.
And she goes, well, she's been in my room the entire time. The next day, another nurse comes in and she goes, hey, I heard you talked about Nurse Betty. And she goes, yeah. She's like, no one seems to know. And she's scrolling through her phone and she turns around. She goes, is this her? And she goes, that is her. And she said, that was my best friend. We used to work in this hospital together a few years ago. She died a decade ago. And
Oh.
I'm like, this is such a good story. But that's the kind of stories that's on there. So it's like for me, if I was going to bed and I listen, I'd be like, what's going to happen next? Like, what's
Yeah.
happening next? I'd never go to sleep.
I know. So some of the Reddit stuff is really good.
Yeah.
You know what ones I like best
What's that?
is the sort of like rules or ritual games that people have to do. This is where the
Mhm.
elevator thing um from, I can't remember their name, the girl's name now, something Lamb, was it?
Yes.
It's where she got this, but there's like one called the 11-mile ritual. It's where you find a certain road at night that's off the main road,
Mhm.
and you have to follow these rules as you go down this road. It's 11 miles. And if you don't follow the rules, terrible things happen to you. But if you can stick to the rules, no matter how hard they are, and you reach that 11-mile mark, you get your heart's greatest desire.
Oh, wow.
And it gets spookier as it goes. And the other one that I think they're making into a movie or a TV series is one called the Left Right Game. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Well, that one is you have to drive from a certain point and you have to follow this exact sequence of you go left here, right here, left here, right here in a certain sequence. And you start to go into stranger lands that you can't normally access.
Oh, wow.
And you have to follow certain rules during that too. And in the end of that story, it ends like you end up seeing this goddess or something like that. Like it's these real weird ones. Chloe Lamb, that's who did the elevator game.
Oh, see, I thought you was talking about that lady that was in the
Elisa
elevator.
Lamb. Yes, Elisa Lamb. That's what it was. Elisa Lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another one of that type of story. I really like those. Look up sometime the left right game. It's very long, but it's really interesting.
I'm definitely going to look it up. I find stuff like that super fascinating. And that's really what I want to try to get into. Like, I've got another YouTube channel where I've put some music on there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just put an hour of synthwave music in there.
Yeah.
And people really like that too. Like, there's so many different
synthwave you put out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like this new one that I put out, the hour long, like that music was so good. I just created another one. I'm going to piece it together probably this week. But the other one is retro 16-bit song. So it sounds like gaming music.
Oh, that's cool. I like that too.
Yeah. So it's like just playing around with different concepts.
No, that's interesting stuff.
For sure. Well, what says you at home? Like, what do you think? Do you think we covered everything that we should have? What do y'all think about this this scariness that we got going on the doggone YouTube machine? We would love to know your impressions, thoughts, ideas, concepts, whatever you got going on. And also, if there's a story that we didn't tell us in the comments down below. What do you want us to know? Or you could join our doggone Discord channel where you can tell us direct in real time any of this info. Because we're inquiring
the easiest way
minds.
to get there is deceptiverealitypodcast.com.
Bingo, bango. That's all you got to do, boys and girls. Well, hopefully y'all enjoyed this podcast. We enjoyed doing it. Until we see you in the next episode, goodbye.
Goodbye.